everybody, I am Narendra Sharma, and in this video of 5S training series, I will discuss about the first S, which is Seiri or shorting in English language. And starting with the learning content of this video. First, what are the learning content of this video? First, I will discuss what is the meaning of Seiri or shorting. Then, how to organize the things at workplace, and then stratification management. That means how to organize the things at workplace and how the stratification management can help you to organize the things at workplace. And then you will understand what is the difference between need and want. How you can understand how can you differentiate these two words, need and want. Need of a particular item and want of a particular item. Then I will discuss the principle of one and how to practice shorting at workplace. Now, starting with the meaning of Seiri or shorting. Seiri is the Japanese word and it implies organization. And in English, the first S stands for shorting. And the shorting or Seiri implies organization of necessary and unnecessary things. That means at workplace you have to organize the things according to their use. Their use depends upon the necessity of the items. That means what items are necessary for your use and what items are not necessary for your use. That means which items are unnecessary for you at workplace. So you have to organize the necessary and unnecessary items at workplace. Now, how to organize the items or things at workplace? First, you have to make a list of things those required for your job. First, you have to make a list the items which are necessary for you to execute your job at your workplace. Then sort out or tick the necessary things for the job. First, you make a list of those items which are required by you at your workplace. Then tick the necessary things out of the required items for your job. And how can you understand the necessary things? Without those, you cannot perform your job. Keep the list of necessary things as low as possible. Only those things you have to tick, those are very much necessary for your job, and without you cannot perform your work. Place these things at a convenient location. And how would you define the convenient location? The location that is in reach of your hand. So the convenient location can be defined as where you can easily find the necessary item very easily, and you can easily take the necessary item with the help of your hand. That kind of a location you can define as a convenient location. And what would you do with the unnecessary items? Either you have to throw out the unnecessary items or things, or you have to store these unnecessary items at a distant place. Now, what is the stratification management? Stratification management implies the storage of low frequently used items, storage of average frequently used items, and storage of high frequently used items. So you have to stratify according to the frequency of use of the items. So which items are frequently used with the high frequency, and which items are used on an average basis, and which items are used with a very low frequency. So starting with the storage of low frequently used items. How would you store these kind of items which are used with a very low frequency? Throughout those items which you have not used in the past 1 year. If you are not using the items which items not used in the past 1 year, then you need to throw out these kind of items, because these items are unnecessary for your job with the past 1 year, and that's why you are not using such kind of items in the past 1 year. Now items, or the second type of items with the low frequency, items which you have used only once in the last 6 to 12 months. So that means these items are not necessary for your job, but may be required at any time at your workplace. So what would you do with these items? You need to store these kind of items at a distant place from your workplace. For example, consider your mailbox. The mails which are responded less frequently, either what would you do these kind of mails? Either you are deleting these kind of mails, or you reported these kind of mails as a spam. The mails which you are not responding in a past 1 year, or you are not responding these kind of mails in last 6 to 12 months. So what would you do these kind of mails? You are just either you are deleting, either you delete these kind of mails, or reported these kind of mails as a spam. Now, storage of average frequently used items. How would you store these kind of, and how would you consider the frequency as an average? So average use of the items. How would you consider the items are used on an average basis? So this is the way. Things you have only used once in the last 2 to 6 months. These kind of items which you are using, or you maybe use these kind of items in the last 2 to 6 months only once, or used more than once a month, store at a central location at workplace. The items which you are using once in last 2 to 6 months, or the items which you have used once in last 1 month. What would you do with these items? You have to store these kind of items at a central location at workplace. For example, consider the same example of your mailbox. The mails which are responded on average basis, you need to label these kind of mails as a star. The mails which you are responding in a month, or in a 2 month, or in a 6 months, these kind of mails may be important or may not be important. So you need to, if you want to take a reference in future of these kind of mails, then you have to maintain a label on these mails, and you can label these mails as a star. So such kind of items or such kind of mails you can consider as average frequency. Now, storage of high frequently used items. Things used once in a week, every day or hourly. Place within the reach of your hand. The items or the tools which you are using once in a week, every day or hourly. These kind of items must be within the reach of your hand. Consider same example of the mailbox. The mails which you are responded frequently, these mails labeled as important. If you are responding the such kind of a mails which you are responded in a week, every day or hourly, these mails are very much important for you, and you have to label these kind of mails as important mails. So in the same way, the items at your workplace or the documents in your office which you considered as important documents or the tools, you must arrange or organize such kind of a documents or items at your workplace within the reach of your hand. Now understand the difference between need and want. The things you need are much frequent in use. The things you need are much frequent in use. Or you can say that, on the contrary, the things you are using very much frequently, these items are your need. For example, water is your need and you take water much frequently in a day. In fact, it is impossible to live without water. Therefore, the water is your need. But things you want are less frequent in use. These things you want are less frequent in use. Or on the contrary, you can say that the things you are using very much less frequent, they are just your want, not your need. You want to take coffee or tea for refreshment, but not as much frequent as the water. You are taking 7 to 8 glass of water in a day, but you are not taking 7 to 8 cup of coffee in a day. You are taking the coffee just for refreshment. Therefore, the coffee is your want and the water is your need. If you have thirst, then the water is considered first over the coffee, because the coffee will not work when you have thirst. The water is only the item which serve you when you have thirst. Therefore, water is your need and coffee is your want. So this way, on the basis of need and want, you can organize the items at your workplace, the documents in your office according to your need and want. For example, pen is your need, but the marker may be your want. So at workplace, you have to organize the things according to need and want. Now the principle of one. What is the principle of one says? The principle of one says one set of tools. You have at your workplace the one set of tools at one time. Second, one page of form. If you want some information from your customer, you just give the one page form to your customer so that he can easily fill up that form and hand over to you. One location. The storage place is one in the organization. Multiple storage location will create the confusion at the workplace. Therefore, one location is very good and the best way to store the things or the items. One-stop service for customer and one-day processing. If you receive a complaint from the customer side, then you have to process the complaint in a one day, and that will be the best way to process the customer complaint. Therefore, one is the best way to deal with the customer, organize the things at workplace, organize the document in office. Now, how to practice sorting at workplace? Organize the necessary documents in your office according to frequency of use. Organize the necessary tools at your workplace according to the degree of need. Organize the necessary material in your kitchen. Whatever you are cooking, first you organize the material which are required to cook the particular food. First you organize the necessary material. Then organize the necessary mails in your inbox. You can organize the mails in your inbox according to the response of your mails you are considered. Organize the necessary folders on your desktop. You can arrange or organize the folders at your desktop depending upon the size of the folder, depending upon the alphabetical order of the desktop, or the changes you are making changes in the documents or in the folders. Now, I hope you have clear about the sorting And now it's time to recap, a quick recap over the learning. The Seiri is the Japanese word and it implies shorting. Shorting implies the organization of necessary things. Manage the things according to degree of need or the frequency of use. Then things you have not used in the past 1 year, throw them out. Then things you have used once in last 2 months, place them in a central location. And things used once in a week, day or hour, place within the reach of your hand. Things you need are much frequent than the things you want. The things you need are much frequent, or the things which you are using much frequently, they are your need, and the things you are using less frequently, they are your want. And practice the principle of one at your workplace. Now comment, like and share and subscribe. If you have any question or suggestion, then do write your feedback in comment box. Like this video and share this video among your friends and colleagues. Subscribe Shakehand with Life on YouTube and press the bell icon to get notifications for future training videos. Visit www.shakehandwithlife.in, then go to bookshelf to download the course notes in PDF. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.